Saturday, and it's time for Boots, Bats and Balls.
You're listening to the best local sports show. Boots, Bats and Balls on Six Towns Radio.
You're listening to Boots, Bats and Balls on Six Towns Radio. My name's Ledgar. We've got a few studio guests in. Some we know, some are new to the show. Welcome, Stoke City Old Boys Chairman John Ruggerio, former Football League referee John Hilditch, and Stoke-on-Trent Lord Mayor Anthony Munday. Morning, chaps, how are we?
Morning, Rob. All right.
Yeah, an unusual mix, I'd say. All know each other through various sporting circles, obviously. But we've got a bit of a story to tell, haven't we, in terms of Stoke City, the 1972 League Cup final, and a recreation of the bus tour, haven't we? Yeah, so tell us how this came about. We want us to kick off with how this came about.
Okay, first of all, Rob, by accident, complete accident, at a vintage vehicle rally attended last summer, came across the coach which took Stoke City's heroes around in 1972. And I was astonished that this coach was still got any wheels on, never mind anything else. But
yeah, I've seen that. It gets about, doesn't it? I've seen it a few times at the Truda Canal Festival.
That's it. That's where I
that's
saw
where
it.
you saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually opening the new canoe trail.
Yes.
And there was a adjoining vehicle, vintage vehicle rally, and I had a wander round and saw this coach. I was there in '72 on the Sunday, but I must admit I didn't recognise the coach from that day. But the gentleman, Ray Hine, who owns it, had got a placard outside explaining, and I went on the coach and he pulled all the skylights back and explained how they fastened a load of timber to the top of the single.
That's what I was going to ask, how they did it, because it's like
it was a really cobbled together thing. Apparently I'm told that the police wouldn't let them have a double decker from Barleston on health and safety grounds because of the trees, that many trees it would have had to plough through.
Oh right, yeah.
So this single decker was bought in very late on.
Did they do health and safety in 1972?
Well, this is it. It did, yeah. No, well, health and safety's the vein of my life half the time.
Yes, I bet it is, but yeah.
Seems to ruin a lot of good ideas, health and safety these days.
But go on, sorry,
anyway,
I interrupted you.
Right, okay, Ray explained everything about the coach and the fact that it'd been sort of shoved in Limer's yard at Teen for 20 odd years, never been turned over, just used to accumulate rubbish on, and he kept badgering the Mr. Limer to give him the coach, and eventually Ray actually worked for Limer's, and eventually Mr. Limer said, oh, go on then, have it. So it took 11 years after that for Ray to restore the coach.
So he gave him the coach. There was no.
I think there was a small. Yeah. There was a transaction. Ray said, but I probably shouldn't say too much. I don't think he paid the earth for it.
Yeah.
What was interesting, Rob, is this coach in 1950, when it was built, was actually sold for £5,000, which at that time, it would have bought a row of houses in them days. So it was a magnificent thing at its time, and it's still obviously magnificent now. So anyway, the story about the coach came out, and myself and Councillor Terry Follows were down there opening this canoe run, and we took some photographs of the coach. I put a coach on picture on Facebook, and then soon other people were putting photographs from the time with the players on, and the Sentinel Elite Post got involved, and then it was our good friend here, John Hilditch, a former Football League referee and local referee as well. He refed a few games I played in, John did down the years.
Yes.
And John put on Facebook, why don't we try to recreate it? And I said, I think I put something on that, let me have a word with John Ruggerio, and John was straight on. This sounds like a goer. A few meetings later, nothing like this comes together in 5 minutes, of course. We had to involve the police, the council officers, the council. Stoke City Old Boys has been brilliant straight away. John and Terry Conroy straight on board. We've had, you mentioned health and safety there, and that did sort of scupper the idea of having the players actually on this coach for this recreation of the run. Basically, they fasten these timber boards to the seats then, and no disrespect to these gentlemen, now most of them in the late 60s or early 70s.
Yes,
there could have been problems. So what we've come up with, which seems to be the perfect solution, and Mr. Hine, who owns Fishtail, the coach, is perfectly, he thinks it's great. Fishtail, the original coach, will lead the procession, followed by Keith Stanton has been in touch to loan. He's been excellent. Actually, he's again put signage on about Stoke City 72 League Cup winners, blah blah blah, with the score and the scorers on the side of the coach. Got a lovely double-decker coach there, open top, so it's far more comfortable for the players, far more health and safety conscious, far more comfortable, more space. So we've got the original coach leading the parade, then the Stanton's coach, and then a cavalcade of vintage vehicles after that. In the first few days we've got a dozen or more vintage vehicles signed up already. We can fit up to 200. I know there's a lot of interest. I've received a lot of calls and people say they're going to sign up, so let's see. If we get 50 or more, it'd be quite a sight, won't it?
Brilliant. So it's not just one coach, it's a whole cavalcade of vehicles.
Yeah, well, when John mentioned do the coach, I thought the coach on its own will be great. Yeah, it'd be great, but I've never seen in my lifetime a cavalcade of vintage vehicles going around the city. I suppose the idea twigged in my mind because I've been on a motorbike around the motorbike run. We have the egg run, we have the pet food run, and the toy run for Christmas. And obviously Stoke-on-Trent game for City of Culture. It could be an event which we can showcase to put forward in our application for City of Culture as well. Obviously fantastic culture and event, looking back into the past, what these chaps did on the 4th of March 1972 is still, we're 153 years now, Stoke City, still, despite all the, obviously all of the blue, and it's great to be in the Premier League now, but it's still the only major trophy we've ever won in the history.
Yeah, still the greatest achievement, isn't it, of the football club, so.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Okay, let's come on to John Hilditch. John.
Yeah, morning.
Morning, mate, how are you?
All right.
This idea then, where did this come from?
Well, it's just reading on Facebook, like all sad people do when they're on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I saw the picture of the bus, read down a few comments, and just as a reply to Ant, I just said, why don't we try? And then obviously I spoke to John because I meet up with the token blocks.
John Ruggerio, yeah.
The Darth Vader of the SCOBA, like, you know.
Yeah.
So
first time I've heard him called that, but yeah.
Well, yeah, it's better than some things I've been called. But
yes.
But so John and Terry kind of warmed to it straight away, and it's just gone on from there. And I'm glad to see it's coming to fruition. Yeah,
great idea, I think. Building it as a cavalcade. John, that'll be great. John Ruggerio will be great for reminiscence, won't it? For the older generations,
yeah,
you know.
It'll be fantastic. But I towards the end of last year, of course, you know, we're always thinking about the next SCOBA the next something that's going on, and obviously I knew that this year was 45 years since they won the cup, so a lot of my thoughts were like, you know, what can we do to celebrate that time, and then with this idea with the coach came up, it was like, you know, yeah, flipping hell, why didn't I think of it, you know?
Yeah,
you know, because it's like, you know,
great idea.
When you think about it now, it seems the real right thing to do, you know. So it kind of like put the, you know, the top hat on the things I'd already got planned, because we've got like a 6-week period now, from the beginning of March to when we have our own tribute night. So we've got like 3 big events. Stoke City Football Club hosting the players at the Middlesbrough game.
Brilliant.
On exactly
March
on
the 4th
of March. So that is exactly 45 years.
Yeah.
So the players, or a good proportion of the team, will be at the ground, and we hope the club, you know, make sure that they get on the pitch and whatever.
They'll look after them, won't they?
Yeah. So they're going to be wined and dined that day, and then the following week will be the parade, and then on the 6th of April, the annual Stoke City Old Boys dinner at the Bet365 will be another tribute night to the 72. So that will finish the celebrations, and you know, it's just going to be perfect, I think.
So it's not just the motor cavalcade. Is there an event after the cavalcade? Is that happening?
Yeah, again, obviously we've all got our heads together, and there's a lot of credit will go to Anthony, obviously, because we're all going to be wined and dined at the King's Hall once the parade's done and dusted. The players, it's not going to be just the players, so it's going to be players, you know, the family of all the and close friends of the players who would have probably been involved on the day as well.
Yes,
You've got the wives, trying to get all the wives together, which, you know, is brilliant.
Yeah.
And then you've got, you know, sons and daughters, grandchildren even, that are now with the families.
Yeah.
So they're all going to be
fantastic
coming along, you know, and there'll be a really good Sunday afternoon of having a Sunday lunch and reminiscing over the day.
And is the tickets available for public for this? Is that an option or?
Yes, Rob. Obviously, we've had discussions with John and Terry, and the idea is really not to have this dinner, but not to have too much effect on the sale of tickets for the one 6 weeks later, which John refers to. So initially, we're going to have, there'll be about 80 of the party with the players' wives, family, all the family, and obviously we'll host those. And then there's about 120 tickets to make it up to 200 available at £40 per person, and they are going quite well already. Now when we get to the 200 mark, which I think we will do pretty soon, we'll have to have a decision then with the old boys to see if they want to. Dennis Smith come down the Lord Mayor's parlour, and he seems to be saying fill the place and don't bother. But it just depends. If we're having it seems as if the people who were phoning the Lord Mayor's secretary to book the places at this dinner may well not be the same people who will be going to the SCOBA dues. It seems to be people who, you know, 2 here, 3 there. It's not your tables of 10 who go to John's dinners and some dinners I put on at Badley Green Club. Less than a week after the Cavalcade, I've got Jamie Greenoff and Phil Sprowson and Terry Connery at our club. So you've got to be a bit careful you don't overkill it. So, but to answer your question, Rob, it's £10 to register your vehicle in the Cavalcade, £40 to attend at the King's Hall. We're not up to the 200 yet, so punters can still phone in. And the number's 232625. Denise Powell, the Lord Mayor's secretary, she's taking 232625. And profits from this day will go to the Lord Mayor's charities. That only came about actually because the police wouldn't put the outriders out and everything and give all their time for free unless there was a charitable cause. But my first instance, obviously money's tight, and I don't want to. The first thing is for the event to pay for itself, so it doesn't actually cost anything. So with the police giving their services free of charge, Stoke City have been excellent. Very small cost for the security on the day and the stewarding on the day. So, you know, I'm sure we'll be able to cover the costs of the event. There might be a bit over for the Lord Mayor's charities. There might be quite a bit if we do, you know, sell more tickets, but that's not the prime. That only actually came out in discussions with the police, and I had a word with Terry and John, and Terry said straight away do it for the Lord Mayor's charities, which are obviously one of them is the Macari Foundation, with Lou doing great work with the homeless people. One's the Sir Stanley Matthews Foundation, so another great local charity, football and sporting based, and the other one's the North Staff's Art Committee, and that's a fantastic charity, and why the Royal Stoke Hospital is the 5th best rated in the whole country for treating heart problems. Mr. Tony Berry from the North Staff's Art Committee raised millions down the years, and we're very lucky to have such a great heart unit so close to home.
So a great event for great causes, lots of great people involved. You know, this could be something that we could roll on every year in terms of the Cavalcade and things like that, couldn't it?
Yeah, you never know what these things can lead to. There was also somewhere. Just give a little plug here, Rob, and again, 2 gentlemen by my side here involved in this. For my last hurrah for me Lord Mayor's charities, I'm organising a 20-mile sponsored walk with options to walk 10 miles, 5 miles, 15 miles. And that is also, I want to link that to City of Culture bit, and I want the normal Joe on the street to be able to play a part in the City of Culture Bid. We know we've got all the big players and this, that and the other in the history of the city, but to make the general public feel part of it, and this it's going to be north of Stadium as a base. We mapped out the first 10-mile route last week, and to go past places like Goodwin's International, the former Meakin site, Middleport Pottery, Emma Bridgewater, Steelite, go round Westport Lake, go through Forest Park, Coby's Park, Moorcroft, all them lovely heritage sites, and great greenery and countryside we've got in the canal network. So tomorrow morning, weather permitting, me and my mate will be out again to map one the other way, probably towards the Chapley Whitfield area, that way, again using North of Stadium as a base, so people can do a 10-mile loop. Some of them can do 20 if they. John will do 20 miles on his hands still.
Yeah, we're running it, John.
No problem. No problem. And and we're probably going to look at another 5-mile route as well. So children and families can get involved, and dogs and all sorts. And people can have sponsor forms for that day or just make a donation. So it's exciting times.
When are you looking to do that, Ant?
April the 23rd, Sunday, April the 23rd. Hope to launch that properly in a blaze of glory in the middle of February, when I'll have sponsor forms available then, or as I say, people can just come along on the day and make a donation, unspecified. I'm not going to say £20 or anything like, just people can afford
what they can afford, and just get involved basically is the message, and enjoy your heritage that sometimes on your doorstep you don't realise it's there. And
exactly. Last week, Rob, I'd done most of that walk before, or done it on my bike before, but when you go from Westport Lake and then you go through the tunnels underneath the road and come out, you have to cross the road by Dimensions. I'd never been that stretch, and some of the other stretches we came after that. A couple of gentlemen, Jeff Salt and Dave Einert, are in local walking groups. They've been brilliant. Good friends of mine as well, helping. But I think that one could well become an annual event, and people could use it probably to support any charity they want after this year. Obviously this year for Lord Mayor's charities, but if it could find a way in the calendar for a regular event, and people could use it for Dougie MacDonald, Louise, anything. Anything.
Okay, I'm going to play a track probably of its time that probably reflects some of the boys of 1972, probably just later than that, but by an artist you'll all recognise, Heroes by David Bowie.